See the little pumpkin? Nice little thing. This is the last pumpkin we have for the year. The rest of them are, actually I think it might be one in the house, but the rest of them have all been cooked and made into pumpkin soups. I like pumpkins, I like squash. I like one squash in particular, and that's these buggers here. Not just because they are musical drums either. This is a type of squash I've been working on for about 6 years. It's a breeding program that I've been running to create a landrace breed squash that really likes to grow in these cooler, more wet climates, nice and sweet, and it's something unique too. This is a Cucurbita pepo, and other than that, I don't know what I'm calling it yet. This is the squash I've been working on for about 6 years now, and it's had crosses of spaghetti squash and acorn squash mainly. It was actually a Cucurbita pepo small orange pie pumpkin at one point that was crossed with these, and I think 3 years ago I may have had a little cross pollination with a zucchini by accident, but that seems to not have really been a problem. This is the result of a mad science experiment in wild wonderful plant breeding. This is the I've got to come up with a name for this because I'm finally getting to where it's a more consistent shape and size after about 8 years of working on this project now. Golly, time goes, heck, 8 years, yeah. About 8 years, I started it, the year we got married. Holy cow. So, this is my squash. These are around 4 to 5 pounds, and they're a really waxy squash. Most squashes I handle don't feel that waxy. I love the fact that I can pick these up and it feels like I was holding some kind of birthday candles or something. My fingers are very waxy. That means these are going to store very well. They also have a very hard rind, and I love that because I've been looking for, above all, just a good storage squash that does good in our area. Your classic Hubbards don't do quite that well. They're a little bit susceptible to some of the pests and diseases that we have around here. Something about the weather and just different geography for my area. But these ones, honestly, it's been in the 20-degree zone in my shed here, my little office recording studio storage shed, for a couple weeks, and they're not bad. I don't know how. These suckers must have froze, or it had been freezing temperatures, and these didn't go soggy when some of the other versions of squash I had did. Now this, I've got to come up with a name for it. Maybe somebody out there can help me find a name for these kinds of squash. I really like them. Most of them have this shape to them. They've got they look like somewhat acorn ridges. They have the ridges of an acorn squash around them, but then stretched way out, and then they're a little skinnier at the top. And they all have been that way. Some of them are just a little bit more warty. Like this one is just a little bit more warty, and that just seems to come out in maybe 30 or so % of these squashes. But they're all this same kind of pointed on the bottom, more egg-shaped with heavy ridges, and then this skinnier neck up at the top. So that's pretty neat. They're also a moderately sweet squash. They've got a pretty firm flesh to them, moderately sweet, and they've got a little bit of that acorn kind of nutty flavor to them. But they're a better storage squash than the acorns. I generally have a bad time storing acorn squash. So I have 2 questions. First, what should I call these? And second, who wants some seeds? I have about 10 of these squash. I saved some of the best ones from this year, and I'd like to send out a couple seed packets. Tell you what, maybe if you can think of a really good name for this squash, I'll send you a nice big pack of seeds, but then you got to show me and send me some pictures of what you grow with them next year. So why don't I do that? Whoever can come up with the greatest name for these squash that I can go with, I will send you a big old pile of seeds. Just tell me how many you want, because I can spare quite a few.